Dear Joe, you'll never know how happy and relieved we were to hear from you. Mom and I were clearing the lunch dishes when news of the Pearl Harbor attack came on the radio. Mom went all white and dropped a big platter on the floor. Dad finally calmed her down, but I don't think she slept at all, waiting for word that you were all right. There were more photographs in the paper this morning. It must have been horrible to be there, Joe. Thank heaven Donnie wasn't stationed in Hawaii, too. I don't think Mom would have survived the worry. Like everyone else, we listened to the president's speech the next day. Dad was real quiet afterwards. I think he always believed there'd never be another great war like the one he'd lived through. That evening, I saw an amazing sight. I passed by the Army recruitment office, and there were hundreds of men lined up outside. A few boys from my school were there, and 8 men on Dad's shift clocked out and signed right up, the coal dust still on their faces. We hear now that war's been declared, and once you've shipped out, you won't be able to tell us where you are. Write back when you can, and stay safe. Love from your sister, Mary. P.S. Mom wants to keep all the Christmas decorations up until you and Donnie get home, so get this war over with fast. Dear Joe, I have no idea if you've been told yet, but I have terrible news. Yesterday we got a telegram, the kind everyone dreads. Mom refused to open it until Dad rushed home from work. It was about Donnie. He's missing in action in the Philippines. We've tried to get more information from the War Department, but all we know is Donnie and some of the other men in his unit are unaccounted for. Mom's taking this very hard. She's holding on to the hope that Donnie's just been separated from the other Marines, that he made it out of the battle but hasn't been able to report back yet. Maybe it's just some awful mistake. Dad says that can happen sometimes, right? For now, all we can do is pray for another telegram with better news. Somehow, I know it will come. I decided I had to do something to take my mind off things, to help the war effort. With all the men gone overseas, a lot of the girls are working in the factories now. I applied for a job down at the Atlas Steel plant, and I start on Monday. Where are you, Joe? Your last letter had so many holes cut out by the censors that it looked like a sieve. But please, write again. It means so much to us to hear from you, especially now. Love, Mary. Dear Joe, last week, out of the blue, we got a phone call from a Marine corporal in Buffalo who'd been wounded and sent home. His name is Ray Parrish, and he's been trying to track us down for weeks. Corporal Parrish was with Donnie's unit when the Japanese invaded the Philippines. He heard that Donnie and several other Marines were captured and sent to a prison camp. Dad finally talked to a man at the War Department today. The government can't verify Ray's story. They can only continue to list Donnie as missing. But, Joe, what if it's true? At least he's alive. That's what we must believe now. Ray is visiting family in Erie soon, and he's promised to drive down to Pittsburgh. He has snapshots of Donnie from when they were stationed together on Wake Island. I can't wait to meet him. I'll mail you a package tomorrow with socks, razor blades, and magazines. I hope it reaches you soon. With love, Mary. Hi, Joe. You're probably wondering about the stationery. Even though I did swell on the assembly line, the foreman offered me a job as secretary to the accounts office. It's more money, so I can't complain. But you should see your little sister's spot weld steel plate. I have to tell you a funny story. Last night we went to the Grand Theater to see a movie. Wish you'd been with us. Before the feature, there was a newsreel showing some Marines on Guadalcanal. Suddenly, Dad jumps from his seat and yells, "That's my son! That's Joe!" He ran back to the projection booth and made them show it again. It was quick, but one of those boys sure looked like Joe Griffin. I even saved you a souvenir. Well, coffee break is over, but I'll send a longer letter soon. Oh, we got your postcard. Even though it took weeks to cross the Pacific, it really brightened the day. Love, Mary. Dear Joe, last month we had a big storm and the elm in the backyard came down. Sorry to say, your old treehouse was smashed. Donnie's gonna be awfully upset when he gets home. Mom found his magazines in the wreckage and put them in the trash. So that's where he was hiding them. After the stump was cleared, Mom planted a victory garden. Between tending her crops and volunteering at the Red Cross, she's keeping busy. I'm sure you've heard about all the shortages here. I had to save up a month's worth of sugar ration stamps to make Dad's birthday cake, and the tires on the car are bald as a cue ball. But we don't mind these little sacrifices because we know it helps all of you fighting for us overseas. We think of you and Donnie constantly and pray for your safe return. Write back when you can, big brother. Much love, Mary. Dear Joe, Saturday afternoon there was a big war bond rally downtown with a parade, a band, and a radio broadcast. I went with Ray Parrish, Donnie's friend from the service. You would like him, Joe. We've been seeing each other for a few months now. Anyway, who's there selling bonds but your favorite pinup, Madeline May? She was signing photos and there was a big mob around her. But Ray shouldered his way through and got right up to the stage. He told Miss May about the Marines swooning for her, and she laughed and gave him a picture for you. So, keep it in a safe place where none of your buddies can get their paws on it. Love from someone who is not a movie star, Mary. Dear Joe, Dad surprised us with a trip to Atlantic City on the 4th of July. There were so many servicemen on the train that most of us civilians had to stand for the entire ride, but I didn't care a bit. We had a wonderful time on the boardwalk and even saw the famous diving horse. We were passing a shooting gallery and Dad dared Mom to try it. She knocked him down like Annie Oakley and won a Cupid doll. He should have seen Dad's face. Maybe you Marines could use another sharpshooter. Wish you were here. Mary. Dear Joe, yesterday Ray Parrish came by to visit. He brought one of those little records that you make in the booth to mail home. One night at the base on Wake Island, after a couple of beers, Ray and Donnie had made a recording as a joke. Ray had forgotten about it and just found it among his things. He played it for us. They sang Home on the Range, and Donnie was off-key as usual. Then there was a message at the end, where Donnie says how much he misses all of us. As you can imagine, there wasn't a dry eye in the house. Joe, I know you don't believe in such things, but hearing Donnie's voice was like a sign to me. It just made me believe even more that he's out there somewhere and that he's all right. Love from all of us, Mary.